The current roster has played together for 3 months now. How has it been merging the Swedes with the Brits so far?
It's been a bit of everything, really. It's been fun. It's been challenging. There's been times where there's like completely new things that we don't or I didn't understand, and getting to know the players as well. No matter like if they're Swedish or whatever, it's always different. So yeah, it's been honestly fun and a good challenge so far.
What are these challenges? How have you coped with them?
Just talking really. You know, Ludwig, I think Brollan, I've said multiple times, he's a very unique player in his play style. He knows what he wants to do, and he's even though like sometimes to me I'm like, why would he want to do this? It doesn't seem good, you know. And he would just get 3 kills from it. So it's kind of learning to accept the differences. Like he'll do it and he'll do it well. So we just have to integrate it, even if I don't always understand like what he wants to do originally, you know. Those kind of challenges and switching AWPers around. Of course, we had Jack, who was more of a passive AWP, and now Owen, who's more aggressive. So you know, it's just always trying to find the balance in our playstyle.
Looking at your roster composition, you hold a lot of firepower in strong weapons like mezii, Brollan, Crims, and Smooya on the AWP. How is that for you as an IGL to have these weapons?
I mean, obviously it's nice. Sometimes tough as well because you know everyone. I think they're all aware that they're very good players as well, and everyone wants to contribute as much as they can in the fragging department. But we have to have a balance where not everyone can have the same amount of space as everyone else on the team. And luckily, Freddie and Will aren't those players who demand space, and you know they're fine. Just give them a role, and they'll just be good at it. So yeah, it's nice because I know like whatever happens, like we could just say like okay, just run in and kill them, and we have that you know as a the backup plan, which some teams may not be able to do. So yeah, it's definitely the first time probably I've had as much firepower like across the team. So yeah, it's nice. It's a nice feeling.
Can you maybe go into detail on how you do this thought process of maybe on overpass it's Smooya getting the aggressive roles or the star roles, and maybe on nuke it's Brollan for instance.
It's we have it kind of set. Obviously, Smooya being the OP, he will always have as much space as he needs because that's like a very important role. And then the other three are kind of they'll take space if you give it to them. They don't like need it like necessarily. So, you know, it's just we try and mix it around. Just try like make sure everyone's like enjoying what they're doing because yeah, I wouldn't want to be like sat door and overpass for every game and have that kind of role on every map. So we try and see if we can give the people the roles they want, and yeah, try and work from there. And then I'll kind of do whatever we need. And sometimes there's some positions on CT where I feel I have to take certain roles because of like just for coding and stuff. But most of the time, just yeah, try and make it work the best for everyone.
You have led teams like Vitality, LDLC, and Cloud9 in the past, but what is the most significant thing with this Fnatic roster? What sticks out?
Um, Hard to tell because it hasn't been that long so far. I just think this roster compared maybe to others, as we were talking about, there's so much firepower and potential that is. I feel like we have to succeed, and if as long as we work hard and do everything we can, I think we'll may not be like number one. Maybe you know we'll have to get some luck to get there or whatever it is. But I definitely think we can contend for titles. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
You say that you nearly have to succeed, but what do you see as your biggest obstacle for that not to happen?
Oh, tough question. I think it's really the same problem that most teams could come across that don't succeed is just being open with each other, communicating, like making sure everyone's on the same page, that everyone feels comfortable, because those are the small details that when you get in game, like you could win or lose because someone's not on the same page with you or not feeling comfortable, so he may not hit the shot that he should. So I think it's all about open communication and trying to work for everyone to be happy, I guess.
You mentioned Brollan and Smooya, but to kick off with mezii. He presented some strong numbers for some time now. Can you put some words on him and his importance on this Fnatic roster?
What can I say about Will? He can do anything and he'll do it well. And if he's not doing it well, he'll work super hard to make it, right and understand how I want to work. Obviously, I've been playing with him since Cloud9 now, so me and him work really well together. And we have a lot of talks because I kind of want to get him to be the second voice in our team, like in a consistent way. Right now he's kind of lacking experience in that role, so yeah, he's gonna be, ideally in the future he'll be my number 2, and then I think he has everything it takes to be like a good IGL, still putting up big numbers like Tabson or Nico can do. I think that's kind of his trajectory right now. I think he has the raw ability. I think he has everything about him to be a very, very good player, and I think for him it's just taking it step by step. And I think compared to some of these other stars, he doesn't get star roles within a team because he's good at everything, and some other players have not requirements but need more space than he does, for example, to be good. But I think eventually, if he keeps like putting up the numbers and growing, I think he can transition into one of those like ultra carry rifles for sure.
You also mentioned that he could be your number 2 and maybe a potential IGL in the future. Can you try to put some words on your teamwork with him on the server, maybe in the in-game calling?
So obviously in Cloud9 it was limited. He kind of was new to that kind of environment, and I think the way I like to call is different to what he had experienced before, where it's more I like to have ideas from other people, and because I'm aware I can't always have the best call, so just try and get the best ideas going. And I think that was new to him, but now he's definitely developing, and I'm trying to integrate him a lot more into like even when we do anti-chat, to get him involved in the game plans, like giving ideas and just slowly pushing him that way. I think he understands the game really well, and yeah, as I said, he has everything to be able to do that job. And I think he'll just lack experience to be like a really good caller, but I think with time he definitely can get there. Yeah.
Brollan, I think the entire CSGO world can see the talents Brollan possess after he broke through on the biggest stage years ago. However, last year ended up being a bit lackluster for him. What is your take on this standstill or maybe slight decline of him?
Obviously, it's hard for me to say because I wasn't involved, in that team. The feeling I got when we came into Fnatic and talking to management and stuff was they just lacked confidence. They couldn't, they tried really hard to get going again and change lots of things to make it work, and it just didn't happen for whatever reason. So I think it's always hard if your team's not doing well to be really good individually, and because if you're really good individually, most of the time you'll be doing well, right, as a team. So, I think it's confidence based for him. But as I said, I wasn't involved. So
you're involved now. You're the in-game leader and caller. What are you doing to utilize and exploit Brollan the best on the server, maybe to get this confidence back?
I think for him, it's giving him the space to, or understanding him as a player, like that he plays in his way, and you have to accept it and try and work with it, if that makes sense. And obviously it's not a hard thing to do, but at the very start when he still wasn't playing well when I was on the team, it's because didn't really understand, like why would he do this at this moment, it doesn't make sense. But when you let him do it, he just kills everyone. So it was that for me at the start, and now I think he knows that I trust him and that the coaching staff trust him, and I think he just flourishes when he has the freedom to be himself, I guess.
You've played with Saiwu before, but how is it to play with such a big talent like Brollan?
It's a tough question, because like obviously Zawu is like a different beast, but I see in all the players we have, I see so much talent and potential. Like even Freddy, he's an old man now, but he's definitely probably got one of the best aims in our team, and like he hits shots that are insane. So it's working with them all is kind of, it's nice, as we were saying earlier, but it's also like, as I said, like you kind of feel like you have to succeed because there's so much talent, right? So there's like a little bit of pressure in the sense that you want to make sure you do succeed, and you don't want to, or personally, I don't feel like I want to push Brollan too far, like to change or to do something differently. Just like gradually, you know, small adaptations to help him become better, hopefully. And yeah, that's kind of how I see working with these young talents.
If Brollan managed to reach his peak and find his confidence back, how good can he be in the future?
That's a tough question. Yeah. I think it's the same. I think he can be a top 10 if we have a really good year, top 5 player. You know, I think he has that consistency when he's confident, and he can he has the skill to be like really high, like a bit was last year, or you know. So I think it's a lot on what we do as a team, and I think the better we do as a team, I mean, that's obvious, but the better we do as a team, the better everyone becomes individually because of confidence levels. So I think he can be a top 5 player if we do things right. Yeah.
I want to dive into you personally. In the last 2 years of your career, you have been away from the game 2 times for a 6 month period after your time at both Vitality and Cloud9. I want to get a bit of insight on this situation, being on the bench or sidelined if you want. How is it? How did you go about it?
I think it depends for what reason you're on the bench. Obviously, if it's by choice, then like it was for myself, it was nice at the start, and then you kind of, for the first couple of months, maybe 3 months, you don't really play CS because you stopped for a reason, right? And then you sort of start watching the games again, and then you're like, want to play again, and you know, start playing, watching more in depth, not just like as a spectator, like really analyzing stuff when you know you want to come back, right? I think it would just be harder if you were forced onto the bench, and I think that wouldn't be nice. But for me, you know, it was time I needed off for whatever reason, and yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, definitely there wasn't really any doubt whether I'd want to continue playing. It was just like when you're not playing, then you really know that you do, if that makes sense. You really get that feeling like, I need to get back on a team and get playing again. So yeah, it was nice.
When you were out, did you focus grinding CS, thinking about new strats and all that as an ideal, or was it more focused to find a new team, find a project? If you understand my question.
Yeah. Obviously, I think a bit of both, like watching the games and playing, because when you're not on a team, you have plenty of time in your day to do that. And my agent is very good, and you know, he was helping me find a team and sort everything out. And yeah, it was kind of easy, honestly. When I decided I want to come back, it didn't take long. It just, you know, maybe got lucky with the right opportunities. But yeah, no, more focused on playing and making sure I'm up to date with, you know, tactics and stuff.
Do you think the CIS dominance will continue with Navi and Gambit?
I hope not, because we're in the same major qualifier as them now, so it's not going to be fun for us. But no, I think yes, because they play a very structured game, so I don't think they'll fall. Even if they're not like number 1 and number 2, I think they'll still be number 5 contenders. You know, I don't. They'll be able to fight for every tournament. So it's just a word, dominance. I guess maybe not. I don't see them being dominant this year, but they could. You know, they have the potential, they have the skill, they have everything set. So potentially yes, but I don't think so.
Last question. Looking at this year with a fan perspective, do you find it exciting with all these new rosters and big transfers? You mentioned them yourself, but Vitality, G2, FaZe, and Liquid.
You know, I feel like no matter what happens, it's going to be exciting for the fans, because I don't think we've seen so many roster changes in top teams for a while, maybe even ever in one summer. So many big changes. So yeah, either way, it's going to be exciting to sort of start from zero, right? So many new teams, new stories. So I think it'll be exciting for sure.
lot of new European top teams, but will Fnatic top them?
You know what? I think it's going to be. I think we're up there in terms of firepower, in terms of everything we have right now. I think we can. I think, unfortunately for us, not being a Blast partner, it's going to be tough to be, because we're not at every event. So it's going to be hard to win or to be like high in the rankings and stuff. But I think we have to make the most of the taunts we are at, and if we do well, then yeah, I think we could rival them for sure.